What's going on, guys? So today on this Shoky Transformers review, we're going to take a look at something new from the Power of the Primes line, and it is the new leader class Optimal Optimus. And I've got him here in his Optimus Primal form and his other monkey form. But before we really look at those, we'll take a look at this big old box. And it is a giant leader class box, like you do. You got Generations logo there. You got the giant wheel of the Primes back in there with the Matrix in the middle. And you've got the fan vote Prime right there, because everybody did vote for this. So what you have here, you have the awesome box art there. I will say, that looks way cooler than this. Kind of wish they had gone this direction. They did something a lot cooler there. You got Power of the Primes down there. Optimal Optimus. And you got the Evolution. And you've got the Maximal logo there. Ages 8+. Hey, I'm right in the middle of that. And you've got the Hasbro logo there. Big old Transformers logo here. Whatever crud got in the box. And you come over here. You have all of the Prime symbols. All of the things. Whatever you want to have. And you come to the back. And you knock over Prime with the box. And it says, as the Prime Wars reach their peak, Optimus Primal is chosen to bear the matrix of leadership. It becomes Optimal Optimus and leads the universe into a triumphant new era. That's true. That is actually how it ended. And you've got the thing here. You can see he can hold footballs inside his chest. You've got Solus, Quintus, and Megatronus. Yay for that. And you've got his transforms into 18 modes. Optimus Primal, Optimal Optimus. Remove the armor. 18 steps. Monkey mode. Mega blast missile cannons. Right. Alright, so that's it for the big old box. But let's see how cool this dude is. Alright, so first up we have Optimus Primal here. And this is how he looked for most of the Prime Wars, so to speak. Or the Power of the Primes series. So he was in his very base version form of Optimus Primal. I can't talk. It's been a long day. But it looks pretty good. It looks very, very Beast Warsy. Got a big Maximal logo foil sticker right there. That's actually kind of distracting and bright. And you got some nice silver paint, red paint. Very nice head sculpt. Pretty much dead on. Though, of course, all they had to do was shrink down the version from the MP, which is basically what it looked like they did. You got probably molded in blue plastic, painted red eyes, silver on the face and on the ears. You got the big shoulder flaps here, multitudes of gray plastic. For some reason, some blue right there on his crotch. Don't know why that's there. White painted thighs, like he's supposed to be. Red knees, and you got the hydraulics hidden away by the feet. So very, very Beast Warsy. And some white painted feet. It's very gray. Now, you do have the worst part of this figure. The backpack. So because he had to be a multi-former, not to mention a before and after, they crammed everything in here. So the kind of jet mode and truck mode that you normally would have for Optimal Optimus is included, but as a total backpack, including the Matrix hiding right here, and the back of a Primal head. You've got more foil stickers that will come up more often later, but obviously it's supposed to be representing a little bit of that G1 Prime bit there. But that's Optimus Primal on his own. But real quick, we will compare him to his fellow Evolution leader forms. So here we have Orion Pax, who's a bit taller. And Hot Rod, who's also a little taller. Now, mind you, he was fairly short in the series, being a Maximal, not an Autobot. So it is what it is. But you see that the three of them, well, they both have backpack problems, or they all have backpack problems. His is probably more egregious, whereas Hot Rod, well, basically looks like a G1 Hot Rod, so looks pretty good, not gonna lie. But that backpack is just ridiculous. I do wish they had allowed a way to remove it, but it's pinned both front and rear, so you are stuck with it for sure. Alright, and for articulation, he's just got a hinge here. You can rotate, ball joint mounted elbow, no fist, no waist. Hips are T-mounted ball joints, like so. Does have thigh rotation for transformation, and double jointed knee also for transformation. But let's move on to his shell or armor or whatever you want to call it. And you've got the kind of beast mode. So this thing is both supposed to represent the Optimal Optimus and the Transmetal Optimus. It's a very strange combination, but it does both kind of well. Just to keep him in kind of a walking gorilla mode, kind of do this. It's not great. He's molded in blue, orange, and kind of a purpley color, along with, of course, silver. I'm going to stand him up a little bit so you can see what's going on here. He's got the big old chunky feet that are painted, and that's pretty much it, except for silver around here. Little tiny, actually I don't even know if they're painted or it's a red piece, but the eyes back in there, and then silver on the face, and actually the blue is painted on the face. Unfortunately on the box it shows that like all of that is supposed to be red. Like he had like a monkey vision mode where he had like a visor that could come down or something. You see that a couple times. For the most part, this is going to make up his body in Optimal Optimus mode. You have a giant gap going on back here. It will be filled out. You get all the silver plastic there. We've got weapons pegged in right here. That is one of the storage options. He's also got some maximal stickers right in there behind his hands. And the hands are the same for whichever robot mode you're in. Doesn't matter. And he does rotate at the wrist. He's got some ridiculously pinned fingers. I would think it would have been better to have that hinged here, not here, because that looks ridiculous. The thumb is just on a hinge joint. That's for transformation purposes. He doesn't actually hold anything in his hands. It's kind of silly. Shoulders do rotate, to do tilt, and if you exercise that, you can do that number. You get rotation at the elbow. You get elbow joint as well. The wings need to be kind of vertical or kind of slightly set back in this mode. No big deal. Head does rotate. It does tilt forward. It does go all the way back for hiding away purposes. It does have waist rotation for transformation. Legs do move at the hips. Can kick forward and back. No knees in this mode. And the foot does rotate on the ankle and pivots also. It's because he uses the same feet in all his modes. Now, we shall go into an early transformation mode, because once again I said this is like his Transmetal version. So we come back to our normal little Optimus. Go ahead and pop his chest open. Tuck away his head. Close that. Flip the arm closed. You have a hole here and you have a peg there. So do that number. You can actually bring it up like so if you need to. The legs, you want to rotate up inward. Watch your paint, it will chip off. It's already started on mine. And you want to take these big tabs and tab them into the hips. That actually will help you align things properly, because this is where things start getting a little bit messy. Come back here, go ahead and just unpeg that, let it swing. Use the double jointed knee joint to bring the foot up and over the forearm, and then it will tab in on the tabs on the back of the forearm, like so. Just kind of square everybody up. You can see the feet are already chipping. Go ahead and bring this. You get two giant tabs, two giant slots, and bring that down. And there you've got Optimus in his surfboard mode. Seriously, that's what it is. And now you've got these huge tabs here and here that will line up with the slots on the bottom of his feet. So this is not the easiest thing in the world, but you've got to kind of make it happen. So you want to pin one down and then hold it and then align the other, because otherwise he will come off of it repeatedly. So there you go. Now you've got your Optimal Optimus in his Transmetal surfboard mode, so his flying monkey mode. So instead of having it on his feet, he's got it like that. Okay, so to go to his next monkey mode, take the surfboard. After you straighten him back up a little bit, you're going to fold this down, lean him forward just a little bit, and you've got these slots right here that will go to these corresponding tabs. You're not really going to do a whole lot with the backpack, but what you want to do is grab here, and you've got these dual hinges. You want to flip this forward. You got these two tabs here and these two slots there, and just basically make him like nose down and straighten it out about as good as you can get. And you want all these holes and everything pointed to the sky. You got this tab here that will line up right there, and you've got this hole that will line up right there. So you want to kind of slide that in like so, and then align all of your tabs. Not always the easiest thing to do because he will come unstable occasionally. And you want these little winglets folded out of the way. Get the monkey arms out. Get the monkey head up. Tilt the feet. And now you've got him with his full backpack, like so. And you take the weapons that really haven't had any purpose up until now, and you can come back here, plug them on right here, like so. And there you've got him in his monkey mode, fully loaded Optimal Optimus. Unfortunately, the head is pretty much useless in this mode, so that kind of sucks. But, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, so let's go ahead and get him into his final Optimal Optimus mode. So you want to go ahead and yank the backpack off. So untab, take that off, and we will prep the body first. Come down to the legs. This is not the easiest part, so you want to unfold that at the knee, and then do that number. So basically you're just trying to accordion the legs out. There's just this little tab holding the leg in place. Once you pop that free, it's a little easier, and then you pop it again, and there you go. Take the little winglets, fold them in, so just kind of covering that up. Come to the waist, spin them around so the monkey is now facing the back. Turn the head back and then rotate it. You can't spin it and then put it in. It does not work. So now you got the new front, so to speak. You want to grab these guys and rotate them upward. There's that sliding track right inside, and it'll lock in place like so. Then you grab the elbow, rotate, grab the wrist, rotate, then flip your thumb around. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and then you want to take the wings and kind of rotate them, and just sort of fold them back. I don't have them both facing the right direction. There we go. Kind of put them back more or less like that. You just want them sort of straightened out. So that's it for the body part. Come back to the backpack, and you want to untab this from back here. This is usually the hardest part, it's just getting this part untabbed. Oh, there we go. It scares me. Yank the guns off, like so. You want to accordion this back up, and it will sit just like that. So you have it flush all the way across, and you have the singular bit right there, and the matrix is like so. And then you want to bring this back down and tab it in pretty much like this. Now the hard part, even though I already said the other part was the hard part, is getting the other head out. You have to push it out through that little slot, but you need something to push with. And in this case, I've got a little Gundam piece here, and it is in there. They only give you this little tab on the back of the head to try to pry it out, and no thumbnail will get that to move. It is really, really snapped in there. So you want to pull the head up, really snap that in place, Come up here. You've got your tabs again. You can line that up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You don't use the tabs. What am I thinking? But you do get these big parts right there. That'll correspond to clips on the inside. And you just snap your boy in place. Bring your backpack up. Snap it into place. Raise your camera up to head level. And then rotate his head around. And there's your Optimal Optimus in bot mode. And looking pretty cool. Got a bit more blues and stuff than you probably remember from the old days, but he's not terrible. The purpley color here is okay. Oh, I did forget one thing. You are supposed to bring his shoulders up and give him a much wider mode there. So, big shoulders. Everybody do the big shoulders thing. But, I mean, I like it a little cleaner, so maybe down like that. That's pretty cool. But, looks good. We'll zoom in on the head sculpt here. Very Optimal Optimus head sculpt. Painted orange silver with red eyes. Looks very good. Back of the head is totally gray. Kind of wish they had maybe put some light piping in there. But other than that, they captured pretty good. He's got a blue beard going on. Looks pretty cool. Very gray and then silvery chest. You actually do get some darker gray paint here. Silver across there. Everything else pretty much looks the same. So that didn't change a whole lot. But you reorient the wings however you want just to keep them like you do. While the details didn't change a whole lot from monkey mode, the articulation went up a little. So the hips still operate the same, but now you've got at least a 90-degree leg. That's pretty cool. And unlike other versions of the of Optimal Optimus, the feet aren't what rotates, it's the arms. That's pretty cool. I do like the fact you do get some foil stickers there on the knees. They look pretty good. Now he does have weapons, technically. These mega cannon thingies. Now you can use these a couple different ways. You can have them one on each side, although they're a little small for that. But instead of having him hold anything, they plug into his thumb like one of the dumb combiner ports would do. But if you really want to make it something special, you plug them both together. I think comparatively speaking, with the other two big primes we've gotten out of this series, this is the absolute weakest weapon you could possibly get. Now, you do have a couple other options you could do. You could try to put them back on the shoulders, top of the chest, like that, or something they actually replicate from the series. This part can, oops, drop down like so, and you can plug them in to his chest. Like he actually used them in the show. That's actually fun. So he's like, boop, 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 boop. I like that. I like that mode. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck this back up. You just have to always keep track of your accordions. Also, if you want to make that come straight out, you can. Yeah, because these accordions don't like to do that thing. There we go. All right. Now, one thing we can compare real quick. We have the Matrix of Leadership. Once again, done in a totally random color. So they wanted to keep the grayish silvery color from the side of the cockpit, so that's what they did the handles in. And they did the entire center part in blue. They really, really don't want to ever give you a Matrix that's the right color. Like, I think, what was it? Optimus was the closest, and Rodimus was way, way off. But it's exactly the same mold as before. Oh, I stand corrected. It's not exactly the same mold, but it's very similar. So you don't have the tabs at the top, and the handles are ever so different. But size-wise, no, it's actually smaller. I stand corrected. I really thought they gave you the exact same thing. Even the center portion is new. Huh. I was wrong. I'm okay with it. It's new, but it's pretty much the same. But so that's your standard one that I painted before, and this is the new one. If I were to repaint this, I would probably leave the edges alone, and just repaint the center to look proper copper. That's funny. But it is there, and of course, if you have Prime Masters or Headmasters or anything you want to stick in there, you can. But speaking of the other primes, here we have him with Rodimus Primal. I know that's not his name. I'm just talking about somebody else. But there he is with Hot Rod, or Rodimus Prime. And here he is with the one he actually gets the Matrix from, Optimus. So you can see he and Optimus are roughly the same height. Optimus is just a little bit taller, but of course he gains some significant height over his original form, and that's what matters. But the jumbo body on this guy is ridiculous. But I liked it, at least with these three huge leaders, they at least captured the form fairly well. I'd say Hot Rod, with the exception of a few parts on Optimus, are a little bit better. But there we go. There's your Power of the Primes leaders. And before we get too much further, there's one part I did not go over. You can replicate another look with this guy by pulling off these pieces on the forearm. You can, in fact, using these two posts right here, can slap that onto the top of the shoulder. Do the same thing on this side. It does have a very hefty tab on the back. And you can replicate this look, if it would line. There we go. So there's also the tall shoulder look that is pretty epic. So like I said, you can keep the shoulders untabbed or not. Now I did look like this in a few instances. Otherwise he kept them on the forearm, or he used them as shields. Here they're not very big, so it is what it is. Oh, it's not over, guys. He still has one more transformation. So let's go ahead and put these back on. Like so. Now, this transformation is fairly easy in comparison to some of the other things. You do need to rotate the head back around and break it to shove it back in the hole. So set that aside, because I'm an idiot and I don't feel like cutting all that. Rotate the wings flat. Push the arms out. Arms pretty much flat. Okay, I skipped a step. You do want to rotate it at the hips, like so. You probably want to do this from monkey mode, not from bot mode. Either way. Just rotate your hands so they're facing the right direction. It's fighting me because I did it wrong, so therefore it's going to be mildly difficult. Okay, so what I was getting confused at was this part. And you do want to collapse the legs like you're in ape mode. And this is actually the most problematic part of the entire figure, and you'll see why. So what we've got to do here is take the backpack, put it essentially back in surfboard mode, with the exception of the front. I believe you want it to be like this. And you've got to get this tab, and these tabs back here all lined up properly. And this has been the worst part because it tends to start falling apart. So, you want to get the front section up there. You want these two big tabs in the middle, like so. If you have the hips too far up, then it becomes problematic. So here's the thing. See, the tabs here, can be hard to see. That tab there needs to go into a slot in the back of the foot. And to be honest, it doesn't. So if you untab the leg and tilt everything flat, you can get it. So that's basically the only way you can achieve that tab without everything. Now, mind you, I am holding this on its center connection point so that I can try to make this happen. This one really doesn't go. I think it's the plastic or the paint is a little too thick. So it is what it is. But basically, you get your Optimal Optimus in his flight mode. And you can drop this down a little bit further using the secondary hinges, but this looks cleaner. And you can do what you want with the arms, get them in as tight or as widespread as you want. I think they really want you to be pretty much like that. And then the guns will tab on like so, like they did in backpack mode. But there is in flight mode. This is definitely the most troublesome mode, just because all of these tabs are nearly impossible to line up. There's nothing connecting up here, which is problematic, and the way to line up the feet is also problematic. And you can see he's not really going to sit flush when you set him down. So, like that. This part is a bit of a letdown. The rear fins here, I feel like they should stick out a little bit more. They don't, so you just kind of get them out of the way. Honestly, it's this entire... It's the fact that the backpack for Primal, regular Primal, doesn't separate. If it did, then you wouldn't need this chunk at all, and then you'd be happy-go-lucky with all of that, and then you could clean up this backside a bit more, and you'd be happy. So what's really dumb is you lose the thrusters that would be there. Now, for anybody who knows Optimal Optimus from Beast Wars, knows that he's missing a mode. He does not have his quote-unquote truck mode. There is somebody who's made a fix for that. It's DNA Design, if I remember correctly. I will be getting that upgrade set. It puts on larger wings. It gives you wheels for the truck mode, both for the legs and for the front. And they also kind of can stay in place. Also, gives you the blades that Optimus Prime should have, or Optimus Primal should have. But for the most part, this is all you get from Hasbro. Alright guys, so final thoughts wise, he's cool, but as with all the other leaders, he's very flawed. But considering I've never got my hands on an actual Optimal Optimus figure from way back when, it's a decent substitute. It does need to have the third-party add-on to be complete, so to speak. And it's also an upgrade set because, you know, things that are kind of minuscule, not quite as big as they should be, a little bit of help. So, no big deal. I wish the colors were a little bit closer to the real thing. But other than that, it's not bad. There is, of course, the Throne of the Primes version from FDCC. If you have that one, that's pretty cool. This one I got at Target. And guys, the online prices are ridiculous. Charging $65 or more. I got it at Target for $54 or $55. Do it that way, guys. Don't, you know, if you want to spend the money, make sure you grab it online, by all means. Just make sure you're getting it for a fair price. But for some reason, they're more expensive online. I don't know why. I mean, even from major online retailers, it costs more money. Don't ask. I have no idea. I know that some of them are known for marking prices up a little bit. There's got to be a good reason for that. They're not just doing it because. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get that waist articulation. Okay, I can get a little waist articulation in there for the backpack interferes. So he's pretty stable for being kind of top heavy, but he has these giant feet. So it is what it is. At least they gave us a new version of that guy in there. I honestly didn't realize it was. My bad. Paint is actually improved over previous things. Stickers are still just as bad, if I'm honest. All the full stickers are just terrible. They're already peeling and going back because they put them right on the things that need to move around. So same problem that the other primes have. And repro labels will probably really do a number on this guy, especially if you get the thing, or get the add-on kit. But the backpack is kind of atrocious. Wish it was a lot slimmer. Either lose this or lose that, one way or the other. Give us the ability to remove it when we don't want to use this guy. It was a bit more fully integrated on previous primes, although you clearly have legs hanging out the back here. But when it comes to Hot Rod, it's almost entirely integrated to where you don't realize you have two bots, or a bot on top of a body, you know, with the exception of the visible hands and the knees that are reversible. That's my main my main complaint with Hot Rod. His legs are terrible. But either way, that's it for this awesome Hasbro Power of the Primes Optimal Optimus review, and probably the last thing from Power of the Primes that I'm going to get. I'm really looking for the Siege line now. Yay! You guys give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and of course, if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe-ish button. And yes, I know, I'm not great at transforming things, but it does have a couple steps that get wonky along the way. No big deal. But guys, I'll catch you on the next review, and remember, as always, well, that's just Prime.